Today we continue with chapter 9 of Matthew from verse 18 to verse 34. While he was saying these things to them, a synagogue official came and bowed down before him and said, "My daughter has just died, but come and lay your hands on her and she will live." Jesus got up and began to follow him, and so did his disciples. And a woman who had been suffering from a hemorrhage for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his cloak. For she was saying to herself, "If I only touch his garment, I will get well." But Jesus, turning and seeing her, said, "Daughter, take courage. Your faith has made you well." At once the woman was made well. When Jesus came into the official's house and saw the flute players and the crowd in noisy disorder, he said, "Leave, for the girl has not died, but she's asleep." And they began laughing at him. But when the crowd had been sent out, he entered and took her by the hand, and the girl got up. This news spread throughout all of the land. As Jesus went on from there, two blind men followed him, crying out, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." When he entered the house, the blind man came up to him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I'm able to do this?" They said to him, "Yes, Lord." Then he touched their eyes, saying, "It shall be done to you according to your faith." And their eyes were opened. And Jesus sternly warned them, "See that no one knows about this." But they went out and spread the news about him throughout all the land. As they were going out, a mute, demon-possessed man was brought to him. After the demon was cast out, the mute man spoke, and the crowds were amazed. And they were saying, "Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel." But the Pharisees were saying, "He casts out demons by the ruler of the demons." Matthew, in this passage, describes a rich ruler who is pleading with Jesus. Now, in the other gospel, we will see that the ruler is Jairus, a Jewish leader of the synagogue. Now, a quick side note that I have not mentioned before: the priests were ordained from the lineage of Aaron and the tribe of Levi. They were the one doing the sacrifices in the temple. In the synagogue, though, what we see is Pharisees, scribes, rabbis. Those were not priests. They were laymen, very familiar with the scriptures that would actually teach. Jesus, as a rabbi, would also teach in the synagogue. And that is why the Pharisees, scribes, seemed to butt heads with him so often. Now, Jairus was helpless. His little girl has just died. And try to imagine the sight of Jairus just falling at his feet and begging him to come restore his little girl's life. A Jewish ruler at the feet of a blasphemer, the revolutionary, the one who makes himself to be God. But Jairus didn't care. I mean, his little girl now was gone, and he knew Jesus would bring her back. As Jesus starts to Jairus' house, another interruption erupted. A woman who had a bleeding condition that persisted for 12 years touched him. Can you imagine having such a chronic condition for so long? To boot, she could not find comfort in religious ceremonies, as the Jewish law declared her to be ceremonially unclean due to her bleeding issue. And this also meant that she could not touch anyone, as they too would have been deemed unclean. She probably would have experienced isolation, hopelessness, maybe even despair. But as soon as the woman touches Jesus, her bleeding stops, and she knows that she has been healed. In an instant, Jesus does what no doctor in 12 years has been able to do. Note the overturning of the events, too. Just like the leopard, this person technically would have made Jesus unclean. Instead, Jesus' touch healed both of them instantly, while Jesus maintained his purity. When he arrives at Jairus' house, he dismissed the wailing professional mourner and was mocked. Why? Because he said she was asleep, which coincidentally is the same term that he uses for Lazarus. Jesus was not lying. The girl was dead, but Jesus intended her condition to be impermanent, just like sleep. And since Jesus was planning to raise her, to him, her condition is like that of a person asleep. He doesn't misrepresent reality. He changes it and uses language that reflects the new reality. Next, Jesus is followed by two blind men. Instead of healing them on the spot, he waits until he enters a house away from the crowd and thus told them to keep quiet. Is it because they addressed him as son of David, a direct inference on his messiahship, while he wants to maintain a lower profile? I don't know. He definitely seems to be attempting to keep his fame and reputation as Messiah from spreading too quickly. And obviously, Jesus was aware of God's timeline. When Jesus says, "Your faith has made you well," he was saying that their confidence in him has been the basis of their restoration. Ultimately, healing is not contingent upon the quality of one's faith, but upon the healer. Jesus was admired and hated simultaneously. Some were amazed by his feats, while others criticized him, just like the Pharisees, who even thought that he made a pact with the devil. Absurd. Reflection. It's not faith in itself that brings the results, but the object of our faith that makes the difference. Both the woman with the blood issue and the blind man placed their faith in the one who is powerful and trustworthy. So where do you put your faith? Heavenly Father, help us to understand your magnitude, because in doing so, we will never doubt trusting you or putting faith in you. Dear friends, it's always great being with you, and I'm looking forward to be with you tomorrow. Ciao.